There have been 13 trades in NFL history in which a team traded away the first overall pick in the NFL draft, and in each instance, these trades wound up altering the NFL landscape one way or another.
I'm a businessman, as you know. I have a business proposition for you.
For this list, we're ranking all 13 trades involving the first overall pick in NFL history. The rankings are based on the impact that the deal had on both teams and the NFL in general. So, with that all being stated, let's get right into it. Number 13, 2023, the Panthers-Bears Blockbuster. We'd like to start off by emphasizing the fact that this one could end up being the most impactful deal involving a first overall pick when all is said and done. Nearly 2 months before the draft, the Carolina Panthers landed the number 1 pick from the Chicago Bears in exchange for wide receiver DJ Moore, the number 9 and number 61 selections in 2023, plus a 2024 first-rounder and a 2025 second-rounder. Carolina desperately needed a new franchise QB. The Bears felt they already had one in Justin Fields and opted to take a huge haul instead of using the pick on a can't-miss defensive prospect like Will Anderson Jr. Only time will tell how this trade plays out, but for now, it takes the last spot on the list because, well, it's just so fresh. But don't be surprised if it ends up being one of the most impactful trades in NFL history. Number 12, 1995, Bengals Mistake is the Panthers' reward. The Bengals had their eyes set on Penn State running back Keyjana Carter, so they swung a trade with the Panthers to move up for the top pick in 95. Since he landed that selection in exchange for the number 5 and number 36 picks in that year's draft. A series of injuries unfortunately derailed Carter's career and ruined his chances of becoming a star. He played just 35 games over 4 years as a Bengal, recording 747 rushing yards and 16 touchdowns. Brief stops with Washington and the New Orleans Saints did nothing to revive his career. Carolina used the number 5 pick on Kerry Collins, who provided 2 quality seasons as the team's starting QB, highlighted by a trip to the 96 NFC Championship game in the club's second year of existence. The number 36 pick was used on defensive end Sean King, whose career was ruined by multiple drug policy violations. This trade was a big-time swing and a miss for Cincy, but at least the Panthers didn't get much out of it either. Number 11, 1984, Patriots Move Up, Rob Bengals, and Bucks. The Patriots acquired the top selection and used it on Nebraska wideout Irving Fryer. He provided solid production with 5,726 receiving yards over 9 years and helped the Patriots to a Super Bowl 20 appearance. The 5-time Pro Bowler, of course, went on to enjoy greater success with Miami and Philadelphia. Tampa received QB Jack Thompson from Cincy as a part of the package. He went 3-13 as their starter over 2 years and was out of the NFL after the 1984 season. Not that Cincy really fared any better in the deal. They received 4 picks, including 2 firsts, but landed 0 impact players with them. Number 10, 1990, Falcons fleece the Colts. The struggling Indianapolis Colts were desperate for a new franchise signal caller, so they gave up a king's ransom to get the top selection of 1990 from the Atlanta Falcons to select Jeff George. The Falcons also sent a 4th rounder as a part of the deal. In return, Atlanta received offensive lineman Chris Hinton, receiver Andre Rison, and a 5th rounder plus a 1991 first-round pick. George was a complete flop in Indy, going 14-35 as their starter while throwing 41 touchdowns against 46 picks. He was traded, fittingly, to Atlanta in 1994. Though the move didn't do much to help reverse the Falcons' fortunes, they got 3 great assets out of this. Hinton, a 7-time Pro Bowler, was a force on their O-line for 4 years. Rison crossed 1,000 receiving yards 4 times as a Falcon, and the 1991 first-rounder turned into receiver Mike Pritchard, who had 201 catches for 2,187 yards and 14 TDs in 3 years with Atlanta. Number 9, 1991. Patriots hand Cowboys key piece of 90s dynasty. The Cowboys had their eyes set on Miami defensive tackle Russell Maryland, and the Patriots were happy to do business. Ahead of the 91 draft, Dallas landed the top pick and selected Maryland in exchange for the number 11 and number 41 picks and 3 defensive players in Ron Francis, Eugene Lockhart Jr., and David Howard. None of those 5 assets became even remotely impactful players in New England. Maryland, on the other hand, was a 1-time Pro Bowler and a key cog on the Cowboys dynasty that won 3 Super Bowls. Number 8, 1967. Nolas Mistake equals victory for Colts. The New Orleans Saints were awarded the first overall pick in the 1967 draft as an NFL expansion franchise. However, they traded it to the Baltimore Colts in exchange for quarterback Gary Quazzo. It was a huge win for Baltimore and a big-time mistake by New Orleans. Quazzo lasted just 1 season with the Saints, losing 7 of 10 starts before he was sent to the Vikings. The Colts landed the top pick, which was then used on defensive end Bubba Smith and center Bill Curry, whom New Orleans had selected in the expansion draft. Smith and Curry went on to earn 2 Pro Bowl nods. Together, they helped Baltimore to a 1968 NFL championship and a Super Bowl V victory over the Cowboys. Number 7, 1975. Falcons and Colts pull off rare win-win. In desperate need of a QB, the Falcons moved up to land the first overall pick from the Baltimore Colts in 1975. That pick was used on California signal caller and future Pro Bowler Steve Bartkowski. In return, Baltimore got the number 3 selection and standout offensive lineman George Coons. Needless to say, it was a rare win-win situation.
I said thank God for small miracles.
I've heard you.
I know.
Bartkowski provided stellar quarterback play for a relatively young Falcons club, earning 2 Pro Bowl nods while helping them to their first 3 playoff appearances in franchise history in 1978, 1980, and 1982. Coons was an anchor on that Colts offensive line, earning Pro Bowl nods in 3 seasons with the organization, as well as a first-team and 2 second-team All-Pro selections. Baltimore used the number 3 pick in 1975 on Ken Huff, who provided stellar play on the O-line during his 8 seasons with the team. Number 6, 1974. Oilers help Cowboys grow taller. Ahead of the 1974 draft, the Houston Oilers dealt the number 1 and number 53 selection to the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for wide receiver Billy Parks and pass rusher Tody Smith. This deal also wound up being a win-win for all parties. With the top pick, Dallas chose defensive end Ed Too Tall Jones, a towering 6'9" monster who earned 3 Pro Bowl nods and helped America's team to a Super Bowl XII championship. With the number 53 pick, the Cowboys took QB Danny White as a succession plan to Roger Staubach. White was a solid starter who kept Dallas in constant playoff contention in the post-Staubach era, helping them to 3 consecutive NFC title game appearances from 1980 to 82. Tody Smith, the brother of the aforementioned Bubba Smith, spent 4 seasons in H-Town and even had a 10.5 sack season in 1974. Parks played 3 seasons in Houston, recording 919 yards over his tenure there. Number 5, 1997. Rams commit grand larceny on Jets. The Jets held the first overall pick in 97, but preferred additional assets. The Rams acquired the top selection in exchange for the number 6, number 67, number 102, and number 207 selections. Woof, talk about a lopsided deal.
You're an imposter!
St. Louis used the pick on Ohio State offensive lineman Orlando Pace. He helped the team to a Super Bowl 34 championship, plus another big game appearance in the 2001 season. Pace was named to 7 Pro Bowls, the NFL 2000s All-Decade Team, and to the Hall of Fame. The Jets traded down from the number 6 spot and handed Seattle another future Hall of Fame offensive lineman in Walter Jones. New York, at 8 overall, took James Ferrier, who didn't amount to literally anything until he joined the Steelers. Gangrene got practically nothing out of this deal, whereas the Rams got a cornerstone piece for their first Super Bowl championship season. Number 4, 1978. The Earl Campbell Blockbuster. Another rare win-win here. The Bucs were happy to hand the Oilers the top pick in 1978, receiving a beautiful haul in return that included tight end Jimmy Giles, the number 17, number 44, and number 78 picks, plus a 1979 fifth-rounder. Houston used that first selection on Texas running back Earl Campbell, who became one of the greatest offensive weapons in NFL history. The proud Canton member won MVP honors in his sophomore year, earned 3 straight Offensive Player of the Year awards from 1978 to 80, and led the NFL in rushing 3 times. Campbell led the struggling Oilers to the playoffs 3 times, including to consecutive AFC title game appearances in 78 and 79. The Bucs used the number 17 pick on Doug Williams, but of course, he became a living legend in Washington instead of Tampa when he led the team to a Super Bowl championship in the 1987 campaign. But the Buccaneers got one good piece out of this in Giles. He developed into one of the top tight ends of the 80s, earning 4 Pro Bowl nods and helping the Bucs to a surprise NFC Championship game appearance in 1979. It certainly could have been worse. Number 3, 1968, a Giants trade with the Vikings. The Vikings had an all-time great quarterback in Fran Tarkenton, but they couldn't pass up on the New York Giants' offer for the future Hall of Fame QB. In 1967, the Vikings traded their star quarterback to Big Blue in exchange for 1967 first and second round picks, the first overall selection in 1968, and a second round pick in 1969. Tarkenton had 5 productive seasons with the Giants, earning 4 Pro Bowl nods during his tenure there. Oh, and many did just fine on their side of the trade as well. The Vikings used the first pick in 1968 on future Hall of Fame offensive tackle Ron Yari, who helped the team to a 1969 NFL championship and Super Bowl III appearance. Yari was also a 6-time first-team All-Pro who earned 7 Pro Bowl nods. Many turned those other picks from the Giants into running back Clint Jones, receiver Bob Grimm, and Pro Bowl offensive tackle Ed White, all key pieces of their 1969 NFL championship team. Number 2, 2016, Rams and Titans changed the NFL forever. The Tennessee Titans had already drafted a QB in Marcus Mariota at number 2 overall in 2015, so they were happy to auction off the top selection of 2016 to the highest bidder. That wound up being the Los Angeles Rams, who landed the first 113th and 117th picks from Tennessee in exchange for LA's 15th overall, 2 2016 second-rounders, and 1 third-rounder, plus 2017 first and third-rounders. The Rams used the top pick on California quarterback Jared Goff, who helped change the course of franchise history. After a rough rookie season, Goff and Sean McVay led LA to 4 straight winning seasons, including 2 division titles, 3 playoff berths, and a trip to Super Bowl 53. In 2021, Goff was a centerpiece of the Rams-Detroit Lions blockbuster trade that brought Matt Stafford to LA. And of course, Stafford helped the Rams to a Super Bowl 56 championship in his first season there. Oh, and I guess the Titans did just fine in this trade as well. They turned the haul from the Rams into 2-time rushing champion Derrick Henry, standout receiver Corey Davis, and tight end Jonnu Smith. Those 3 helped the Titans emerge as a consistent playoff contender, getting them as far as the 2019 AFC Championship game. Number 1, 2001, the ultimate win-win. Looking to find their longtime franchise quarterback, the Falcons acquired the top pick in 2001 from the San Diego Chargers in exchange for Tim Dwight, the number 5 and number 67 selections, plus a 2002 second-round pick. Atlanta used the pick on Virginia Tech QB Michael Vick, who wound up becoming the greatest dual-threat QB of his era. Vick was a 3-time Pro Bowler in Atlanta who led the team to 2 playoff appearances, highlighted by a trip to the 2004 NFC Championship game. The disgraceful dogfighting scandal abruptly ended Vick's tenure as a Falcon in 2007. The franchise did rebound, however, by taking his successor, Matt Ryan, 3rd overall in 2008. But the Chargers won this trade as well. They used the number 5 pick from Atlanta on a future Hall of Famer, rushing champ, and MVP in LaDainian Tomlinson. LT brought new life to this franchise. With LT, the Bolts won 5 AFC West Division titles and reached the AFC Championship game in 2007. So take a bow, Falcons and Chargers. You have successfully orchestrated the best trade involving the first overall pick in NFL history. But who do you think will end up winning this year's trade between the Bears and Panthers involving the first overall pick? Join us in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.